our quest for a peaceful life, unfortunately, we can't eliminate conflict, nor would we necessarily want to. Great ideas and innovations have come from conflicting opinions. There's a point where a conflicting opinion on an issue turns into a conflict between people. So it's worth looking at ways to diffuse that heightened emotion and get the conversation back to being more productive. In this video, we're going to consider what to say in the heat of the moment when you find the conflict's moved from an issue to you. Now, I wish there was a magic solution to diffusing a situation, but there are so many variables that make a situation unique that it would be naive to think there could be a one-size-fits-all script. This is why we're going to consider a framework or a guide for how you manage the conversation to become more productive instead of escalating into more tension. Before I share the framework, I want you to have a look at this image. What do you see? A face or a musician playing saxophone? Have another look. So what is it? For those who see a face, it's definitely a face. For those who see a musician playing saxophone, it's definitely a sax player. So what is it? Well, that depends on how you look at it, right? Your perspective. So what is it objectively? It's black lines on a white background. When we have a subjective opinion that we are wedded to, it can be really hard to see the facts. And this is where conflict has the potential to begin. One of the most insightful definitions of conflict comes from Jill Geisner. She suggests that conflict arises from the perception that someone is trying to interfere with your goals. She goes on to explain that there are typically 4 goals. One is how you see yourself. Another is your relationship to others. The third is what belongs to you or you believe belongs to you. The fourth is the process of how decisions are made. Remember, perception can be subjective and therefore arguable. So let's now consider the framework to diffuse conflict. It's a really simple framework which makes it easy to remember in the heat of the moment. You're never going to recall the 49 steps to conflict management. But don't let the simplicity of the tool undervalue the impact it can potentially have on diffusing defensiveness. The tool is called BARK. It's an acronym, B-A-R-K. This is for when someone's barking at you. B is for breathe. This helps your parasympathetic nervous system kick into gear. It'll reduce adrenaline. It'll bring your heart rate, your blood pressure, and your body temperature down. Just a few deep breaths will also help you think a bit clearer about what to say next. A is for acknowledge their perspective first. Part of conflict is feeling like you're not being heard, appreciated, or respected. So use your great listening and questioning skills to demonstrate that you appreciate they're another human being with the right to an alternative perspective. Remember, acknowledging is not agreeing. Then it comes time for you to share your perspective and to respond. So R is for respond. If you have listened to them, then hopefully they'll do the same in return. In this series of videos, check out my video on complete messages for a guide on how to craft clear and succinct responses. So this step might be when you get the conversation back on track. And if that's the case, then roll with it organically as you negotiate an outcome. If you find you're starting to go around and around in circles and the conflict is escalating, then apply the fourth and final element, which is K. K is for knowledge. If you're starting to go around in circles, then it suggests you're at the limit of your understanding, so you might need to get more information. And that could come from a third party, like a manager or a subject matter expert, or you might need to end the conversation momentarily, do some more investigation, and then re-prosecute the conversation later. So there you have it, BARK, B-A-R-K. If you forget the model, just remember them first and then you. It's going to go a long way to making someone feel heard and respected. If you manage conflict in a peaceful manner, then you can talk about anything. Best of luck.